It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Yo, man. Boom, Miss Rusty. What is up? Boom, boom, boom. And I can do a fourth one because I think of that song that was on all those Girls Gone Wild commercials all the time. The Venga Boys, that was what it was. And I don't know. It might be on YouTube, so I don't want to get demonetized, except I'm not monetized on YouTube. So, but I just don't want to sing that song. So anyway, welcome to the podcast, the public access podcast here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN. And I am your host. My name is Rusty Diamond. And this show is on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, along with When the Gloves Come Off, the Thinking Man's Pro Wrestling Podcast, Saved by the Ben, and This Is It with Lizzie. And we're sponsored by Fred Ben Savage as Fuck, Stoner Eats Productions, Hardcore and Comedy, Hypnosis is Great, and Sock'emUp.org. So there it is. It's Tuesday. I got a couple podcasts today. Got one of these and one of the other ones, the When the Gloves Come Off podcast later on today. So check that out later because this is coming out soon. So it'll probably be up by the time you look at it and get finished watching this. So everyone, thank you for being here. And I'm going to bring on my special guest right here, right now, because it is right here and right now. And that's where you are. That's where we are. That's where I am. Special guest today, Amanda Olejarz.
Hello.
Hello. I got it. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so good. How are you?
Pretty darn tootin' good, as the kids say. All the kids say it now, so I'm gonna say it too. All the kids say darn tootin'. I'm hearing it. I see the TikTok videos. Just nothing but darn tootin'. So that's how it's going.
Delish.
Yeah. So okay, we were talking beforehand for a second, and you have a cat named Cat. I don't want to a cat named Cat. So we got to talk about your cat first.
Well,
if that's okay.
No, that's totally cool. And just full disclosure, I actually have two Bengals. The eldest is named Kitty, and her baby sister is named Cat with a K. So I have Kitty Cat.
Okay, Kitty Cat. All right, so
yeah, let me explain a little bit more because it is really super silly. Kitty was my Christmas gift from the ex-husband way back in the day. And when we got her, like, she totally picked us. So it was like, yeah, I wanted to name her Lola. She looked like Lola. She was just like so cute. And I'm like, Lola, I could see it. He hated it. So we called her Kitty just because it's generic. Well, after a couple of days, she started responding to it. So you can't like just up and change her name. So she stayed Kitty. Fast forward a little bit, we get another guy and I'm like, I am naming this one, right? So I came up with a bunch of different names. And the one that I decided on was Mr. Meowgie.
I like it.
Yeah, but that's so good. Did everybody else. And I realized you can't have a kitty, very basic and generic, with a super epic named kid, right? Like you just can't. Everybody remembers Mr. Meowgie and Kitty's forgotten. So that's how Cat became Cat.
With a K, though.
With a K,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so when you're yelling it out and calling for Cat, they know they can hear the K part and they know it's not CAT, to differentiate from everybody else who is just talking about a cat. This is Cat with a K.
Yeah,
the
very
personal.
stern. Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, not cat, not soothing, because at the end of the day, her Indian name is Butthole because she's a
Oh,
little
okay.
bear. So it's more like stern, like cat, not
And,
cat.
and is it turned to butthole
Yeah,
sometimes?
she is total butthole. And, you know, cats are clean normally. They're always licking stuff. She's always got a dirty pooper and she sticks her tail up and sticks her butt right in your face. It's beautiful.
Like, oh, well, thank you for this. This is you know, a nice mouse or bird on the doorstep could have been okay, but a dirty butthole in the face, you know, that's cool too. You
I
know,
mean, yeah,
whatever.
so I'll take a selfie with it, right? And then I'll send it out to everybody. And I'm like, I hope your day is better than the view.
Right, there you go. And yeah, it can be like uh whatever, like Christmas card or whatever, you know, kind of a thing to, you know, send out for everything. And yeah, you know, you never know when you need one of those, or you need a good picture, or someone requests a headshot. And where has that picture, those pictures made it? That's the weirdest place they've made it to.
I mean, I feel like probably just a couple of my Facebook friends. Up until 2020, I was pretty private. And then lockdown, I'm like, hello, world.
So what was that like work for you? You're in, well, no, now we're talking about buttholes and I'm talking about urine. So
Well, ironically, I do touch butts for a living.
oh, okay,
Yeah, no
perfect.
big deal. I've been a massage therapist since 2007, so I do a lot of body work. I
And
also do
butts are part.
exactly like butts are so good. Plus, they're the biggest muscle we have, the most underrated. But like, holy cow, if you have any kind of back issues, you need a good glute massage. It is just so beneficial. And a lot of people neglect butts. They're usually just smacked, right? Or sat on, or like just
Right.
guarded.
Yeah, yeah. We need a little National Butt Appreciation Day.
That's what I'm saying. There we go.
Yeah. So then uh so for back problems, let's say you got a back that's kind of messed up. You might have some, you know, let's just say you have some good lower back problems. A good butt massage would be a big beneficial help.
Absolutely. Like, I was in chronic pain from age 15 to about 32 with low back issues. I had lordosis, so it's like scoliosis of the spine, but the lower spine curves too much. And then I had degenerative disc too. So butt massages helped a lot. But the thing that put it over the top actually was lower abdominal massages. So especially right in between the
Ooh.
hip bones, just on top of that pubic bone, there's so many attachments that are there. And a lot of times we're hunched over. So all of that's tightened. And once again, abs are taboo. Nobody wants to touch them.
Oh.
But as soon as you loosen that, your pelvis doesn't tilt as much. And then your chest can open up, your shoulders relax, and therefore your back can curve naturally a little bit more. And then it helps to ease back pain so well.
And so like with hernias too.
Yeah, like anything, because honestly, like your body is regenerative. And that's something that a lot of people forget because we just hear about this aging process, right?
Right.
However, it's not supposed to be like that. It's only like that because XYZ reason, which, you know, conspiracy theorist insert here, whatever you want to say. But like,
Oh, you can throw those in.
I mean, let me just put this body's regenerative. You get a new body once every 7 years. Every single cell, every 7 trillion or however many you have is different every 7 years. So we're consistently feeding ourselves stuff to make our insides a little more imbalanced instead of, you know, what makes it happier. So we're making new, worse bodies instead of being new and healthier. Like, I say that I'm 40, but I'm really 37. I'm in the best shape of my life. Like, I've not been this good since I can't remember, before chronic pain, that's for sure. So before 15. But I feel like like I'm doing it wrong because everybody else is like, oh, getting worse with age. And I'm like, no, 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 no. The body is literally one of the best machines on the face of the planet. Like it can do everything and anything. A, you just need a good mindset. B, you need to nourish it, not like deplete it. And a lot of things we do are like legit acid forming. We have a naturally alkaline inside. So it's like, yeah, we're consistently dumping crap into it, wondering why we're not getting good results. And it's like, hello, we just need new blinders.
Yeah, I think that could be a little bit of a help there. Yeah, there's a lot of people, and it's real easy to, yeah, just to be like, I don't know why I feel like crap all the time. And like, well, what are you doing? Oh, well, this could be part of the issue. I'm not going to say for sure, but it could be a contributing factor.
Yeah. And like over my 15 years of having people lay on my table being like a non-therapist therapist, hearing it all, because there's a certain level of intimacy when there's somebody naked that you just met that like you're trusting completely to touch you in like all the right ways, air quotes.
Right.
But like, yeah, there's certain things like if you get into energy work, low back is root and sacral chakra. So that's all about safety, protection, well-being. And then the creativity, the sensuality, that passion, the creation. Like when you're not doing those things in your life and when you don't have them, it'll present in the physical. So a lot of times I don't even have to touch a physical body to help it relax. And like, if you don't want to get into like the spiritual sense, a lot of times if you just change your diet for like 3 days, give it 72 hours of doing all the right things, you're going to have a new body like super quick because that's how big of a difference it can make. There's so many different avenues. It's awesome.
Well, yeah. And I mean, after 72 hours, if you're not feeling better from that, I mean, it's one of those things like, well, I could go back, but then you realize how you're feeling. And all of a sudden, okay, why would I go back? I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay to feel great. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with feeling great.
No. And I feel like the biggest thing that I see with people, it's who am I without my pain? Who am I without anything holding me back? And that's a scary thought because a lot of us aren't living up to our potential, myself included. It's like, well, the only person I have to blame is me. This is terrible. Help. And I mean, it stings. However, it's like, all right, a little bit of motivation. It's like, why don't you want a life full of ease and grace? Like, it's definitely better than trauma.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to be sitting around all day, feeling crappy, feeling bad about yourself. I went through that and that sucked. That didn't help anyone. That didn't help anyone around me. It didn't help me.
No.
I can tell you that much. And yeah, I mean, it took to getting to be at a point where it's like, well, okay, I need to do something different here. This isn't working. I'm at that time I was still under 40. So like, it's okay. Even now that I'm over, but still, I feel like I can still do some things. And it was real easy just to be able to, woe is me, and have that quick little bit of dopamine and serotonin from your surroundings, like, oh, I'm so sorry it happened to you, that sucks, oh, you could be doing that, but and then just to be able to be like, oh, okay, well, I can just feel better and I don't have to worry about this, and I don't have to worry about getting any little boost of something because I'm already feeling good.
Mhm. Yeah, and I feel like when I went through like the hardest time of my life and I didn't want to do anything, if it wasn't for the Bengal babies and me legit having to feed them because all they would do is meow, I probably would have gotten out of bed for like months on hand. It's just
Yeah.
crazy, like those little steps. And now I feed them and it's just like second nature. I'm like, wow, it's cool to see how far I've come since that point in my life.
Yeah, it wasn't going to feed the cats isn't something that's like, oh, this is going to be a pain in the ass to try to do this right now. And I'm in trouble. This is gonna, and then I'll be worn out for an hour afterwards just from having to bend over to, set down the water dish. And um, but now I have the cats on automatic feeders, which I figured out a few years ago. Had a cat that would at like 5 o'clock in the morning start meowing at the door, and I said, I gotta fix this. This is not good. There's got to be some way to take care of this. Like, I'm not gonna have the cat at 5 in the morning every morning dictating when I'm gonna wake up, even though I'd wake up like at 5:30. But the cat would be doing that, and I found an automatic cat feeder, and was off like 6 times a day. A little bit of food, have it go off like at 4 o'clock in the morning, and the cat stopped doing that. But now I can play with the cats and run around with them, and I still have to get down, and it's not the end of the world anymore.
No, good job adulting smart. Like, that's beautiful. Once I found out about auto feeders, I was like, oh, this is totally a game changer. Like, mom and made easy.
Yep, and then so it went from the automatic food dispenser to automatic water dispenser to the automatic cat box. And
Nice.
yeah, so now I have more time with the cats, and it works out. I'm home a lot during the day, and I get to be around them a good chunk. So it's kind of cool. I keep them in here, but yeah, I can let them go do stuff for a little bit. But so do you have an office elsewhere to do where you're
No, I have a home office that I see people in. However, I do a lot of stuff online these days.
pretty nice. Pretty
Yeah,
nice being able to do that.
absolutely.
I was a big fan of that. So you were talking about with COVID,
Yeah.
I gotta make sure what I can say before I can still keep this on YouTube. I think you can say it, but you just can't really make too many claims about anything. But so you were, okay, you find out it's you can't go anywhere, I guess. You get to that part and they say, hey, you can't leave. Are you in a city? Are you in like a metropolitan area?
Yeah, I'm in the west suburbs of Chicago. Yeah.
Okay. All
And
right.
just before lockdown, I was actually working in a hospital. So when they shut the world down, we were still open for a minute. Um,
Oh.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no. Okay, so you're in there, you were in the hospital, and they say, hey, you're not coming into work today. And so you're
So
at you're at
what
home.
what happened was, like, I was in the sleep lab because I'm a sleep tech at this time, and I was working
Oh,
overnight. So we were like completely segregated. And before COVID, I was working like 80 hours a week, sometimes with a 4-hour commute, just because of X, Y, and Z. So I was praying for a break. I had no idea what the heck, this was. And people are talking about it. I'm like, this is insane. And I had just gone through my spiritual awakening, right? Like a couple months beforehand. So it was like super intense. And I'm just praying for a break. So I go into work one day, and they're making us I don't actually think that they were making us wear masks. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. But long story long, my coworker came in with a bacterial infection, and that's why they shut our lab down. We didn't get shut down until after everybody else.
what?
So if he didn't do that, we would have still had to work through everything. So I was super grateful because I think it was 4.5 months off, and I was paid for it. So, like, my lockdown experience was a freaking blessing. I got the break I needed. I got the income I needed. I was also super grateful because I was on the same sleep schedule as everybody else on my side of the world. all of my friends, all of my family, all of like everybody. I was so like, yes, this is amazing. This is like summer break on steroids. So I had an epic lockdown experience. It was like beautiful and a half.
It's really weird having you working graveyard, and especially if you know, you have people that expect like, hey, you should come to this event. It's at, you know, 7 o'clock at night. Like, well, wait, no, I'm just like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm going to work then. You know, I can't really do anything. So yeah, like, okay. But and then yeah, getting back on track with everybody. And so wait, I want to go back 1 second. So you said you had a spiritual awakening right before uh the lockdown, shut
Yeah.
down, whatever it was. What was that?
Oh, okay. So this kind of has a little background story, right? So dun to dun, like I went through an epically terrible breakup. It was just like the first one that I actually had where I let my guard down with emotions. And we had met at work, and I started doing all of the wrong things that a 20-year-old should be doing. And I was in my 30s, but he was in his 20s, and I didn't really realize all the influence. So I went through some financial disaster. I almost lost my home. And at the end of the day, all I asked for this was this dude's attention. I'm like, I'm working overnights. I went back to this and I said I was never going to, right? And here I am doing everything to get money to save my home, and he's getting high and playing video games. And I'm like, you're not even making my lunch. You're not buying me groceries. You're not cleaning up. No, I'm like, you're literally like a child. Like, no. So in my like 4 hour commute back and forth to work, I was driving in traffic, so not really driving. And the epiphany came to me like, Amanda, you legit told this guy and you laid it out for him. Like, there's nothing else that you could have done. And like, I truly meant that. And like, I really still believe to this day that that was true. And it just clicked. It was like, holy cow. Yeah. And then I saw him as like the child that he was acting like from like my age. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to have a relationship with this guy and we're on two different levels. And it's just like not happening. I'm like, you just need to get your life together right now. And everything was just like different, but the same. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of like superpower right now. I don't really know how to use it, but let's roll with it, see what happens.
And so then, yeah, I mean, I assume it was probably pretty changed after that, the
Yeah.
dynamic and
And then
everything.
I may or may not have explored the multiverse a little not too long after that.
Yeah.
And what really put me over the edge is I was reading this book called A Course in Mastering Alchemy. And it was just very cool self-study, opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. And they talk about dimensions, right? And they talk about the 12th dimension being like all that is, creator, like the universe, everything. So I'm exploring in the multiverse. And these things are only supposed to last like 15, 20 minutes at a time. I'm in there for 2.5 hours, right? It was amazing, so beautiful. And I swear to you, Rusty, like I made it all the way up to the 12th dimension. I saw everything all at once at the same time. And then like I shot back down here and I started seeing everything through everybody else's eyes at the same time. And I came back and I was like, this is bogus. Like, what the blah, blah, blah. All we have to do is be nice to each other, show each other respect and love. That's it. That's not that hard to do. So this is right after I'm like, Amanda, you did not love yourself enough. You love this guy too much. And I'm like, oh, and I'm going, okay, for the record, everybody that works at night deserves to be working at night for the most part, because we're all weirdos in some way. There's a reason we don't come out during the day, or our attitudes are too nasty, one or the other. I'm just kidding. Like, I know a lot of cool people that work
So if
over. I
yeah,
know a lot of crazies that work overnights too, but
there's a
I'm
lot during the day too.
hardcore. However, once again, being a massage therapist, I'm usually in a dark, quiet room away from everybody else. So my experience is not that of like a lot of people at Anxiety Central.
Right.
But
So
yeah, going to work and everybody's super negative, and I'm like, oh, how I don't get it. All we have to do is be nice. So I started being nice to like everybody, and it was just so weird. I'm like, okay, this is how we change the world. This is how I embrace the 12th dimension and the third. This is crazy. I'm fine.
so then you left that space, and so I mean, okay, so you said something that should have lasted. I'm trying to put puzzle pieces together in my head. So something that should have lasted 15, 20 minutes lasted 2 hours.
Yeah, acronym, dude. Dude? My turn.
Right. That
Yeah,
was my guess. Two
yeah,
hours.
yeah.
That's amazing. And so I mean, you're kind of able to see through everything, but be everything at the same time
Hmm.
and experience everything at the same time. So I mean, so that changed your whole perspective of everything, not knowing that this was where you needed to be, what you needed to be, and how you needed to be, and the kinds of environment you need to put yourself into.
Correct. And I feel like despite my NDE of 2016, at the end of 2019, after I had my feelings hurt, that's what I wanted to change my life after feeling something that I did not want to do for like 32 years at that point in time.
And it was, yeah, it's a hard one to like for, I mean, just to grasp, but it's one of those things that's so easy to overlook and just, okay, this is something that I wouldn't have thought of, but should be thinking of, and to be able to, yeah, get through and get to where you need to get to. Because I mean, so like, what was after that? I mean, what was one of the first things that you changed?
Ooh, I feel like I started truly to watch my words and not take everything so personally. Have you ever heard of Ubuntu?
I've not.
Okay, so I just heard about this word. I freaking love it. It's an African like way of life, but it pretty much means I am because you are. Like I can't be me without you. So it takes away the individuality and it embraces community. So when I started seeing everybody else as myself at whatever age, I started helping them in a way that would be, like suitably appropriate, or even just like being that person to hold the door open. Or I'm a huge fan of like, I can't like do anything without excitement. So like the littlest things excite me. Like, hey, shiny something squirrel. Usually somebody's wearing something that sparks my eye. And I feel like I'm the person to compliment it and it's genuine, but it's like, yeah, doing stuff like that. Some people call me weird for it, or like in my sales job, everybody said I love you. And I had a huge problem with saying I love you. Like, no, this is only for certain people. Now I throw it around like it's candy. Because at the end of the day, A, I want to hear it. B, they're like, you're me, they're me. So I want me to hear it too. And like that might be the only time that somebody actually hears it, which is sad. However, like that was me at one point in time, literally. So yeah, doing that, I feel like is just only going to help, and it really like strengthens like a bond, like anything, any kind of like little gesture.
Yeah, and I mean, someone never hearing that before or not hearing it nearly enough, and having someone like you just come up to them and say that. I mean, that could change all kinds of things for that person. Not even just, I mean, that day or that moment, but I mean, that can change someone's whole life. I mean, someone could be in the middle of some fucking crisis and are, and then here you are. I love you. And okay, all right, this isn't that bad anymore. Things are looking up. And I think that's cool. That's a good way to change an experience. And I mean, yeah, I think it can be a hard thing for a lot of people to say, like you were saying, for that reason too. And just now, I don't know if it's something that, I mean, so does everyone kind of react the same way when you say it, or are people thrown off, or are there people who kind of don't, or like, what are you talking about? Or anything like that, or
I
how is
mean,
that?
yeah, there's a little bit of everything, but there's usually an ending of a smile. People may or may not say it back, depending on how like the situation is. Sometimes there's a hug, sometimes there's a picture. I mean, it just all really depends. Sometimes
Did
it's
you
in passing and it's like, yeah, I don't even need to see you again. You just keep going, do your thing. Like, that's why I love you.
did you say sometime there's a picture?
Yeah.
So what is that? So I mean, I know what a picture is. So a picture of what is this thing?
Well,
What
no,
is
like
picture?
some people are just like super into social media. I'm not that person, which is why like it's hard for me to like do business stuff online. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to show off my life. But people are like that. It's like, hey, let me take a picture with you. This is the random chick I met on the street that told me she loved me. Like just random stuff like that.
That's a good way to, that's a good representation on the internet, to be that person. And and not a lot of people have that. So why not go there? And yeah, I mean, doing stuff on social media, it's interesting. And so I think you said that you have a TikTok. Is that correct?
Yeah, I got a TikTok during lockdown.
Okay, and so you're over 40.
Technically
40.
37, but I go by
Okay, they're
I
37.
identify
Okay.
as 40.
You identify as 40. Okay. Okay. So with you being 37, identifying as 40, what do you do on TikTok? What kind of stuff is showing up? What are you doing on TikTok? Because I find the people who are usually like 40 and above, it's a much different game than what's going on when someone hears I'm on TikTok and I do TikTok stuff. Is usually something pretty different.
All right, so way back when during lockdown, right? I'm trolling through Facebook to find a job, just whatever, see what's out there. And I
Yeah,
come across this post that says be a cast model, like a medical cast model,
like
200 bucks. Yeah,
CAST, like
correct,
okay,
CAST. And I'm like, there's no way that this could be real. Oh, no, sure, it was real. So this dude came over to my place and gave me a long leg cast. And then he told me to go on TikTok because that's what everybody was doing. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, a little girl told me to go on TikTok about 2 years ago, and I made one video with her, and then I heard there was child porn on there, and I was like, no, delete. So then this guy tells me to do TikTok, and I'm like, sure, I got nothing else better to do. I'll support whatever, right? So I go on TikTok and I was making dumb cast videos because my leg was perfectly fine, but I was in a full leg cast. So it looked like I was broken, but I really wasn't. So
right.
yeah, I was doing dumb dances and like I was, I don't know, ballerinaing, and I got paid 200 bucks cash for it. I got to sell phone calls with my cast.
I think you undersold yourself on that. You should have got paid more than $200 for that.
Well, I mean, I still know the guy. He's one of my massage clients. So yeah, there's definitely rapport. I feel like I'm almost to the point where I'm ready to do it again, but it's like, that's why I have TikTok cast videos.
What are you gonna do? What's the next thing you're going to break?
I'm not going to break anything.
Well,
I'm not.
not break, but what are you gonna get what are you gonna get a cast put on, I guess?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I had some requests for some different things. A lot of people want to see me in like a torso cast, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And I'm like, okay, just as long as my head isn't covered, that's fine.
Right. Because if your head's covered, then you can hire somebody on Fiverr to do it for you if you want. I mean, then no one's gonna know it's Amanda here, Amanda and the cast. So and then so okay, so you're doing cast videos. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. And so, how did they get the cast off? Did he come in with a saw, or were you
Yeah.
do one of those things like a skateboarder does or something, where they like, oh, I need to go skateboard and start, or getting a thing, and was it on long enough where it got, it wasn't on for like a month or anything, and you
No,
just
so the lay cast I had was on for 2 weeks.
wow.
Yeah.
Did it mess anything up with how you were walking or anything like that? Did it?
Well, I mean, he gave me crutches I never used, but I learned to like do the little hobble thing. But like I told you before, I used to have chronic low back pain. So when I moved in my condo in 2017, I had yoga trapeze installed in my ceiling. So that's just hanging
Oh,
right in my living room. Yeah, so I could do inversion therapy and be Batman, but like it elongated my
cool.
spine. It helped me to get an inch and a half back in height that I lost from sitting at a computer over the years. So I was able to like Tarzan that thing and just like glide me everywhere I needed to go. But yeah,
Whoa.
having a cast was just like super fun. And I feel like because I couldn't like really do anything, I couldn't drive because the car I had, it was like too small. It was like just unsafe. So I was kind of like stuck for 2 weeks just around my neighborhood. But I'm like, I don't really want to get the bottom of the cast dirty. I can't wear a shoe. So I rearranged my furniture a lot, but I did a lot of art stuff. But I had to be careful because Kitty and Kat, like they love art, they love anything, and they knew I couldn't chase them that well. So they got away with a little too much.
What kind of art stuff you do?
I don't even know, like pour painting, a lot of abstract stuff. One of my things is to take old broken CDs and make like butterfly wings and then coat them with resin. That's super fun. That's something I started doing during lockdown. And then
Do you do you
but
use which side do you use? Do you use
the
the
shiny
shiny side or the
fun
other
side.
side with okay. So it
Yeah,
doesn't matter what CD it is. It could just be a bunch
yeah,
of blank CDs.
yeah. But I try to save the environment and I didn't know what to do with those. So I started breaking them, which are much harder than I thought. And I'm like, what can I do with this? And then, like they're sticking out too high. And then the resin, since it's plastic, it just covers everything and it makes it all nice and smooth. Plus, it gives it like shiny depth too.
So that are these hanging up in your house? Is this another shiny thing to look
One
at?
right here. Yeah. Yeah, because the butterfly is my spirit animal of the West. So it speaks to me a lot. And for some reason, like I'm obsessed with this image. Like I'm not a real artist. I can't draw for the life of me, which is why I like the abstract stuff, because it's just like, yeah, it's gonna look good no matter what to somebody, even if that's not me. But yeah, I feel like the CD with a little bit of glitter and each bottom is different, and like the way that it peels off and like they put together like puzzle pieces. It's just really therapeutic too.
And so you said that's your one of the east. What is your one of the west? Your spirit animal of the east.
Yeah, East is the Phoenix.
So the phoenix in the east and the butterfly in the west.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And where did that was there they come from somewhere, or what?
Yeah, so I
How did
took
that
a
happen?
shamanism course and we did meditation on it. So pretty much we go on a journey and yeah, they describe the different elements of the East, and then you ask the animal to present itself to you. And it's usually the first animal you see 3 times is your spirit animal of either that direction or that season or just in general. So I got the phoenix in the east, the deer of the south, the butterfly of the west, and the bear of the north. And then
Oh,
overall spirit animal is the deer. So it was like beautifully aligned.
and so did you remember this, or were you like during this, were you telling your shaman or shaman teacher that this is what I'm seeing, this is what's going on, or was it just in your head, zombie, zombie, something like that. One of
Yeah.
those.
No, it was part of a class, so I wasn't the only one there. So during the journey itself, nobody spoke, except for the teacher guiding us. And then after, we were journaling for a little bit so that we would remember everything. Plus, you go back and look, journaling is super important. And then after we wrote everything down, everybody shared. And it was super cool because the one thing that we were doing, he was telling us to fly somehow. And there's many different things that you can do to like fly or perceive like you're flying. And each and every one of us was on a horse, like not an actual winged creature. We were all just flying through the forest. And I'm like, holy cow, I don't know these people. This was online. So I'm like, this is powerful stuff. There's no way that we're all making this up. And I know like what I experienced, like this is outrageous.
So, I mean, your horse, what does your horse, what's the significance of the horse? Or was it just, do you get into that?
I feel like the horse is my power animal. The entity that I need to connect with to remember like a lot of strength and like beauty simultaneously, and just like a lot of courage and like being majestic and like overall sense of like power, like horsepower, like let's roll, like that energetic process.
Are horses something you've been around or anything like that?
Oh, horses have never been my thing ever. So
Have you experienced any horses since then? Have you gone out into the country and ate a lot of peaches and found some horses and did something with them? Gone
uh,
on, see if you
not
connect with any.
physically, no, but ironically, one of my neighbors that I pet sit for has a barnyard horse not too far away. So I get to see a lot of her videos and pictures and stuff like that. So that's super awesome. But that's the closest connection I have to a horse.
So, I mean, yeah, because then now you're thinking having a horse and the cast videos. Uh,
All I need is an idiot in tinfoil riding the one next to me.
right. And that's not hard to come by either. And or I mean, if you have that full cast, I mean, that's a whole backstory with the horse. That can be a whole lot of things with the top full body, or not full body, but top half cast. Yeah,
There's
the
special names.
top half cast.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be willing to do that in a horse. Getting up one of those is hard enough without all that. Because those
Yeah,
things are heavy.
the cast or the horse.
Yeah. Well, obviously the horse, but the cast is heavier than I thought.
I mean, you've been in a cast besides
Oh,
this, or
oh,
no
I
cast?
never broke a bone in my body. And I feel like one of the funnest experiences in grade school was people breaking stuff and being able to sign the cast. And I
Yeah,
never got to experience that.
me neither. It's a bunch of bullshit. Is
Right.
what I was saying. Like, we should have uh then it's like when you get little sleeves or something, cut them and just to put on there, sign my sleeve. And but now they have these 3D ones where it's looks like like a hard plastic, like a chain link fence kind of thing, to be able to do that so it doesn't get casty. And
All right.
yeah, it seems to be the new thing. I don't know how to explain it better than that. Sort of like lattice or whatever kind
Yeah,
of
it's like, I don't know, like spongy kind of.
spongy
Like
looking.
holy? Yeah.
Yeah, there's like holes, but it's still like a hard
Mhm.
plastic. And
Right.
so you can, if you need to like itch your arm with a pencil or something, you can do that. You don't have to just try to stick it down there and only get part of it. You can just kind of get in there. And so I assume itching was a thing that happens with a cast? You get, or can you just turn off the itch?
So here's the thing about this, right? Like, if I actually had a break in my leg to warrant that kind of cast, I would not be able to move on it. I'd be bedridden, which the itching comes from the lack of circulation in the body. So because I was up
Oh,
and moving a lot, very mobile, I never really experienced itching. It was very far and few between.
okay. And I didn't know that part about the itching that that comes from lack of circulation.
Yeah, or
Is that all? Most
lack of
itching?
circulation or a lot of circulation. So like if you've ever sat or laid on one of those like really heated hot water beds, that will produce tingling because of all the blood circulation there. Or sometimes, like if your hand gets too cold before you lose sensation, you'll start to get like that tingling pins and needles. Same thing.
Yeah. Uh, water beds. Uh, that was that was an interesting thing. I ended up with a waterbed when I was maybe like 17. I think I had one for a little bit. I was
How was
living in my
that?
parents' house, and it was pretty cool. I don't know, like you can't do it now. No places will let you have. You have to own the place to be able. I don't know where you get a hot tub either. I don't know if there's any hot tub stores anymore, but I would have thought that would have been something that they would have worked on to update that, but I don't know. But I like a firm mattress though, for the most part. So having a water bed's kind of, you know, defeats the purpose and probably not good for the back. But I'm not a scientist or uh, a bed expert yet. So I'm saving that for maybe the next thing to jump to, maybe be a waterbed expert.
There you
But
go.
yeah, maybe I'm bringing it back. But so, okay, so you're doing TikTok videos in your cast. Um, so like what else is, you know, for social media for your um your brand for you for whatever is that, I mean, so there's so much now where it can just be automated, and like I know the people who are looking at my stuff, like I feel like kind of a jerk, but then it's like I can make it sound like me, but then I go back and forth between this because I do not like doing social media stuff, and I would rather do anything than that. And but then it's something that people, and that's where people go. People go to TikTok now usually to find stuff. I heard TikTok's kind of become the new Google for the kids now, and it's like, well, or the new YouTube. But so I mean, what do you do as far as being able to get your name out there, get your story out there, as far as doing the social media thing?
Yeah,
How's that?
so I go back and forth with it. However, at the end of the day, I feel like social media is supposed to be and is like mine personally is just for me. So it's all the stuff that I want to put out there, and I've made my feed all the stuff that I want to see. So like anything positive, spiritual, like growth, development, awesome. But the stuff that I put out there, even in my business, I feel like is just the stuff that I would rather see in the world. And I recently started doing a bunch of Facebook Lives, and they're all related to self development in some kind of way or some kind of community events. Because I do some things. For instance, I'm having a drum circle outside. It's going to be a potluck and a drum circle. There's 4 of us that are combining forces that we're doing. So I talk about stuff like that. And then I'm also part of the Chicago veg community. So I've been vegetarian my entire life. I finally found my people. we're having another beach volleyball event July. So I use it to promote that. But at the same time, like there's also a lot of good stuff that comes from veganism that a lot of people don't know. For instance, like the quickest way to change and save our earth, our home, is to cut back meat a little bit, because animal agriculture is just like so draining for the environment. So I use it to do stuff like that. And then I just got into these self-help cards, or, you know, like self-love, but they're different eye-opening questions, and sometimes they're really hard to answer. So I feel
Oh,
like I use my social media to help people expand and to show off my vulnerability, so that it's more of the norm. Because I feel like at the end of the day, it's just going to help people like be more themselves, be more authentic, and embrace who they are a little bit better. And there's a lot of nasty stuff out there. I know what I put out there, so I'm trying to counter it too. So I have to like sometimes go all the way around in that circle to do it. However, it's like, all right, this is cool when I do it.
yeah, and it can be hard sometimes to just, I don't know, like my social media right now is like, all I see on it is what the podcast booking group, and then like a Beavis and Butthead group that I'm in, and and that's my social media. Like I don't know, it's I don't know. So I when people, you know, tell me about or ask me about all these things, I don't know. I was into social media for a while, and I was deep into it, and then I just was once, you know, the uh, you know, lockdown, all that stuff happened, was when I just was, I'm done. I don't need that. But I mean, I should be doing it, try to find a way to make it a positive way, but
It's hard.
yeah, it is hard when when you know, you become sort of the balance to the rest of what's happening. And it's a great thing to be. It's a great thing to be that balance of it. And you know, it's awesome that you can. And I just haven't found a way. I haven't found a way to do it yet. So, 'cause
Well,
I mean, I think, yeah.
I haven't found a way to like do it diligently yet. It's very like up and down. So when I do it, it's very positive, I feel like. And when I don't, it's like silence. Apparently people hate that, which is why like I'm never in the algorithm either, which makes it even more frustrating.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's, yeah. I don't know the algorithm. Maybe I need to ask my old buddy ChatGPT about the algorithm and on Facebook, and see what old ChatGPT has for me on that one, how I can get myself back in that algorithm if I need to be there. Um,
So you know who you're
so
talking about when you say that, right? That's my
yeah,
boyfriend.
you have a great boyfriend.
I know, he's
Well,
so loving, isn't he? He's just always giving.
yeah, always giving, not asking for much. I do like to put please and thank yous in there to your boyfriend, because yeah, your boyfriend does a lot, does a whole bunch for me. And yeah, very, very giving, and very, very nice, and very informative. And yeah, definitely helped me find some stuff. And I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like, I don't think my schooling, my schooling, why do people go now? There's this, I mean, I want people to learn. I want people to learn all the time. You can go to YouTube University like I went to, and I turned out okay. But I mean, there's you really don't need to as much anymore. I mean, ChatGPT can do it for you real quick. And I think that me saying that, there's a lot of people who are just like, okay, well, ChatGPT can do it for me, I don't need to do anything. Not what I'm saying. Not what I'm saying, because that can be taken that way. And you know, you should still always be trying to evolve and learn more things. But I don't have any desire to learn anything about Google SEO or about writing a business plan or a grant letter. I don't need it. It's nothing I really need to know to get through life. And if I have your boyfriend working with me, working overtime, I'm going for that. That's a big help. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Plus, it's just like super quick too. And if you rephrase the question, you could get like a completely different response. It's like legit everything that you want at your fingertips. However, I will say that some facts definitely need to be fact checked. However, overall, my experience with him has been fairly accurate.
Yeah, there's some fact checking, but then we can be the fact checkers, and that's okay. I'd much rather fact check than write a whole thing. Just go over it and pull out the old red Sharpie as whatever the equivalent to the red Sharpie is on the computer. I pull that out and make a few little notes, and I let ChatGPT know, and I say, hey, this is great. You're doing a really good job. I'm proud of you, ChatGPT, but you see this over here, not quite right. Will you make sure that you get that right in the future, and anything that's like that, like maybe just check a few things out. And it's been nice. And like for art, um it's a hard thing because anything art, but then is derived from some other art that's already up online. But me myself, who has zero art ability, I have ideas. I'm an idea man. I can make some cool art, and I hope then that the people who are real artists can take what I'm doing, take my ideas, and be able to make way cooler things, and not get, because it's easy to maybe get bogged down and just not want to adapt. And there's definitely been things in my life I've not wanted to adapt to and let it pass me right by, and that's fine. But this one, I think I can let it roll a little bit. And yeah, like in music, I just saw a new music thing this morning that it's gotten better for being able to describe your exact kind of track you want, and be able to have it produce it in 30 seconds. And uh it's just so hard. And I mean, one of the first things I did though was I was like, well, I should be writing a children's book. And but what was the lesson? And so the first one I did, and it was so hard like to read it back and not start laughing. And I wanted to do one with the moral of the story, not to poop in the swimming pool for little kids. And just like what it came up with, I was like, this is so horrible and so good and exactly what I wanted. And I was like, make sure it has a bit of because most children's books are written with a hypnotic tone. It's not just for, it's like, oh, kind of gets the kids to get tired. And, that's why read me a story before bed. And it's usually written in a way that's going to knock the kid out in a way. So, make sure you add that in when you're writing something, and just, being able to do so much with it. Make a lesson plan of what you're going to do. Have an outline, and it's just, I hope that people can find a way to work with it and not just use that, but find ways to make that better. At least somewhat. Your boyfriend's great. Give your boyfriend my love.
I will, absolutely. Because I hate to say it, especially because I'm female, right? But there's a lot of times that he just does stuff better than I can. And that's just the fact of it. It's like, dang, I'm impressed. And I've been dating you for just a little bit, but keep this up. I like this. This is going to work out well.
Yeah, I think so. I'm a little jealous of your boyfriend. So he's doing a lot of good things. He's doing all right in the world. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Which-
just I don't know. He's good. He's good. He's got the tricks. He's got, he's got things we don't even know how to do. And
Mhm.
that was another thing, like, write me a hypnosis script for this. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I have a client who likes this, and this client needs to do this. Write me a script, and then I can change it how I want. But it's just pulling out that red part and making a few little changes, and it's mine because it's my idea with the help of your boyfriend.
Yeah, and I feel like it takes that like uncomfortability and that self-consciousness away. It's like, all right, I know I didn't do this, but I had a part in it. This is actually really good. Like I can say this without people like, oh my God, what did they think? Did I use the wrong word here or something like that? It just really takes the edge off.
Right. And I mean, I feel like that's something with we were talking earlier about the the TikTok videos or the YouTube short videos. Like, I don't know what I have that filter in me. Like, I don't know what's funny that I'm saying, or I don't know what's interesting that I'm saying, or what's controversial that I'm saying. But this thing, it picks it right out, and it can just no filter, just tell you like, this is what it is. This is why it is. This is how it'll interact with people. And thank you. Okay. And
Awesome.
I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's nice not having that filter of I can't do this or should I do this.
Mhm.
It's just, here it is. Here you go. You can have this. And I say thank you. Thank you for that. Job well done. Please give yourself a pat on the back however you do that. However you give yourself a pat on the back. How do you give yourself a pat on the back? And people can do all right with it, and it will be some interesting parts in the future. But I mean, have you gone in and have you asked it how to make my massage experience better? How can I incorporate uh, my other work with my massage work to make a more enjoyable experience for my customer? Have you gotten any of that? Like,
No, honestly, I'm just gonna be like really an ass right now, but my massage is like really good. I don't really need to up it anymore.
I love it. That's great.
Like
That's perfect.
I'm the person that's gonna like climb up on top of you and find the spot that you're not going to know about. And I'm also the person that goes into the glutes and the stomach and the chest and touches the parts appropriately to help you get relief that might like other people might be uncomfortable with, like up in the groin, inner thigh, hip flexors. It's just all about communication and just like relaxing. But as soon as you can loosen up, especially the attachments in like pelvic area, it's just transforming for the life. But yeah,
And
no, I have not used JapieG for that.
you're perfect already. And so you got I mean, so people are coming in, and then do they know that that's something that they would be like, they come in saying, oh, I hurt my back. You're like, hey, hold up a minute. Let me, I know or do you like, you feel around and you can feel like when there's, someone's got a big knot or whatever your, the proper terminology would be, is feeling around and like, oh, this is a spot I need to work on, or you find it some spot, but it's connected to somewhere else, and you can, then hit that. And
Yeah, so everybody comes in with some kind of quote unquote complaint or reason that they're there. So we'll briefly go over that. However, in my experience, it's not always where the pain is, releasing that'll give you the most relief. It's releasing elsewhere. There's usually like a referred pain or like a counterpart, because our bodies are awesome, right? And will compensate for it. So sometimes it's not always just about releasing the part that hurts, it's about releasing the side that's compensating as well. So like the twofer of that, like I know when I'm in pain, my focus is only on the pain. Like I can't really feel everything else. It's all just like numb. But then somebody starts touching, I'm like, oh God, that feels so good. But yeah, no, it's just like different sensations, and like knots and tightness are just more dense. So yeah, I could feel the knot in your shoulder. No, you don't have to ask about it. Yes, everyone has it. And no, having more does not make you the best person in the world. Having tightness means that you're taking a shit job of taking care of your body. So congrats at sucking at life. I don't actually say that. However, that's what tightness presents to me. It's like, you don't want to do the things that you're supposed to do. So here I'm legit forcing it out sometimes, or just like waiting for it to give or surrender, stop resisting. And yeah, sometimes like, I don't know if you pop pimples or not, but I thoroughly enjoy it. It's like one of my favorite pastimes. Like massage, like getting rid of a knot is sometimes like popping a pimple. So it's like a twofer for me. Like I'm feeling it. And then like as soon as it's going, I hear like a, oh, it's like, yeah, I got it. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, that was good, right? They're like, how do you know? I'm like, well, I can feel it, but like in the shoulder, like let's put some stuff down that you don't have to like be carrying, some emotional baggage that's not yours. It's like, yeah, let's not get this again, because as much as I love like kind of hurting people and like getting the stuff out, I still don't necessarily want to do the same stuff over and over again. That's the definition of insanity. And that was my life before lockdown. I'm different now.
Yeah. So is that like holding something in place, or, like to let it go sometimes, or like,
Yeah, but it's not like just like a pinpoint
right.
thing. Like, definitely not. It's like using everything and like gripping too, like legit getting it all. Because like this, you can't really keep tight. You can only do so much. And like, I loved my school. It was a very holistic school. My teacher's words stuck with me all these years. He's like, your job is to confuse the muscle or the soft tissue into relaxing. And I'm like, oh yeah. Well, how do you confuse somebody? Like I do it with the Bengals all the time. Like you touch them here, you touch them there, they're like, wait, what? Shaking all over the place. It's like, I don't know what to do. So how long can you sustain that? Usually not very long. So then you relax, and then everything just kind of splats out.
And so when when you're done for the day, because are you wanting to, like, I mean, you probably don't, then you probably don't have any parts of your body that you need to massage. You don't have like you don't have to like go into your shoulder and do this. But at the end of the day, because it's one of those questions that can kind of suck at the same time as being an interesting question. Because I know some doctors don't want to be like, or it's pay me for this. But if someone comes up to you and says, I'm having this problem, do you want to help me now? What do you do? Or do you say, come to my office? Or are you excited to do it? Or are you like, oh, this person's trying to get something from me for free? Or my time is valuable, because if you're that, you're that good. But are you still like, at the end of the day, where is your head, I guess, for the most part?
So I feel like that all depends on like the person and the situation. Because back in the day, I graduated from massage school when I was 20. So it's been a while. I used to feel the need to prove myself a lot. I was very self-conscious, and like I've always been a little bit thinner. And because of that, people underestimate my strength. So it's like, I mean, yeah, no, come here, let me give you a handshake. Come here, let me like show you how I'm going to stick my pointy little elbow and walk my feet up the wall right into your like back. Like, let's go. But like, I know what I'm capable of. Like, not a lot of people know these days that I used to train MMA and compete jujitsu. Like, I know a little bit of a death grip. Like, I don't need to prove that to people. Like, get on my table, because I feel fully feel like if I can help, I'm going to. However, with that being said, like, that's a very like masculine, divine masculine trait, like the action, the doing. The divine feminine is like the receiving of it. There's not a lot of people that want to receive that and just like completely relax too. So it's kind of like, all right, you're gonna have to, like, I pick and choose who I like give pro bono work to. It's more the people who are into their divine feminine, like, yeah, I want this help, like, for X, Y, and Z reason. Like, can you do it for now? Like, yeah, cool. But just to be like, yeah, no, you're not going to get through all of this. I'm going to be the tightest person ever. Like, no, bro, mine is bigger than yours and I keep it in my pants. Like, you can too. Let me show you how. There's a massage place down the street. You can go get one for $50. But yeah, not for me. In my
Yeah,
old age, I'm way too picky.
that's a good way to do it. And so what do you think between MMA and massage work, body work, um, which one do you think has taught you a more, I don't want to say like deadly grip or whatever, but kind of that question?
Yeah, I would definitely say the jujitsu part of it for sure. The gi, just like knowing how to like quote unquote handle clothing, but have it be like the strongest way to do it with minimal effort. And I feel like it's all about like the leverage. But once again, all that kind of stuff is like Eastern philosophy. So it's things that you can incorporate in your personal life too. So it's super cool. It's like, yeah, let me leverage this, which brings me back to massage. It's like, okay. And then like having the jujitsu background, like being able to like lift my leg up or know where my body weight is going to go allows me to like completely be on top of a person and not like, oh my God, I'm going to fall. It's like, no, I know how to do this. I know how to keep somebody's like arm in check. So it's not going to like pop their shoulder out. Like, that's both, but I've seen it happen in jits.
Sure. And so then that was kind of my next question then. So then you've been able to take some of what you've learned, the philosophies of the jujitsu, into the into the, I can't think right now, the massage. And so, or at least part of it, the like the fulcrum points and stuff of that nature.
Yeah,
Is
and
that
just like overall body movements, because when you're like actively on top of another person, like rolling around and they're like trying to get you into a certain submission and you're trying to do the same, like you can actually feel like the difference. And then like having somebody lay on the table when they're completely relaxed too, it's like, all right, well, this is where this muscle is at this time, like using that in comparison. So it's like, okay, if I kind of put you in this little bit of like a Kimura, we can get your muscle to go like this. We can relieve it up to here. And it's like, so how's your neck feeling?
that's an interesting way to do it. I like that a lot. And it, yeah, be able to kind of get everyone a different way. And then so if people are gonna go for your work, if they're gonna find you, if they're in the Chicago area or taking a plane flight out to the Chicago area, where are they going to find you for that? And where are they going to find you on the interwebs of things?
So I can be found online at www.amandala.coach, AMANDALA.COACH. I only take massage clients as referrals. So you have to know somebody to get a massage from me, or otherwise it's just online coaching. Because honestly, at
Cool.
the end of the day, I do more benefit by helping you with your mindset and up your nutrition, sleep, all things holistic for your physical body than touching the physical body. But when we're done with our stuff, I do invite you to come over to my home office for a massage, because then we could really release all the physical out too.
Nice. So then, I mean, you got people from wherever then they don't have to be there. And I mean, I think that was probably maybe the best part of the lockdown was that becoming a much more acceptable form of treatment and, prevention for a lot of people, just being able to have, because it was before, it was hard to get anybody on a Zoom call to work with. There was a few people, and I only started doing it because I was working with some people who didn't want to leave their house. Like they were afraid to leave their house. And so I started doing Zoom, and this was 2018, 2019. And everyone else like, no, I don't, it's not going to do any good. And then everyone started doing Zoom, and it's like, okay, well, now it's just totally acceptable and it works just as well. So, so yes, I mean, there's no reason if you're anywhere else in the world not to be able to get a hold of Amanda. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? She's right here and you know how to do it. And so, Amanda, I really enjoyed getting to talk with you today and get to meet you, and not knowing where we're going to go, not knowing what we were going to talk about, learning about Cat and Kitty and and everything in between. And so, yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, if if you're anyone out there is thinking about it, just go ahead and do it. Just get a hold of her. Just go out and do that. So yeah, thanks again, and have a good rest of your day here. And if you see someone in Chicago who may or may not have sideswiped me, and I need to go to trial here in a little while in September, you can just tell them to maybe go to trial for me or something if they want.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do for that.
Okay, I know. I know how it works. That's usually how law works. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm happy we met, and hopefully we'll cross paths again here.
Yes, thank you so much for everything, Rusty. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, take care, Amanda. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, and that's Amanda Olejarz. What's up? What's up? Thank you, everybody, for listening to the podcast here on the QGBN, the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, with great shows such as When the Gloves Come Off, This Is It with Lizzie, Saved by the Bed, and the Thinking Man's Pro Wrestling Podcast. And this is brought to you by Stoner Reads Productions, Fred Ben Savage as Fuck, Hypnosis is Great, Hardcore Comedy, and SockEmUp.org. So thank you, everybody. And that is the show, man. Boom.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Ernest! Ernest! Ernest!
Yes, Pee-wee.
You brought the snacks, right?